Hi, hello. So, we want to look at some problems and resolution of forces to IJK. That's 3D resolution of forces using the blue triangle equation. The blue triangle equation, you will need three things. I said you will need, first of all, when I come, you need the force, you need the angle phi, which is the angle between the positive x-axis and the base of the plane containing the force. Then theta is the angle between the z-axis and the force, that's the resultant force. So now let's look at the convention of our rotation. So if I have x here, I have y here. If I rotate anti-clockwise like this, I'm saying anti-clockwise is positive, then clockwise is negative. That's what I'm saying. So clockwise is negative, anti-clockwise is positive. So that is the sign convention for our rotation. So now let's start with this first example here. So let me number it. One, two, three. One, two, three. So let me use this color. So now let's go. So starting in the example one, that's question one. We have two forces F1 and F2. So let's do with F1 first. So when we take F1, which this is two. If I take F1, if I take F1 like this, I take F1 like this. So F1, the force F that we are considering, that's the resultant, is 75 newtons. This one, you can see that. Then, what is the plane containing F1? This is the plane, the one I've shaded blue here. So you check the angle between the positive z axis, this one, positive x axis, sorry, to the plane containing the the force F1, and this is what I mean. So you check the angle here up to the plane, the base of the plane. This is the base of the plane, this one, containing the force F1. So within each, or from the distance between, or the angle between each two adjacent axes is 90 degrees. So for instance, between x and y, the angle is 90. Yes, that's what I mean. Between x and y, the angle is 90. Between y and z, the angle is 90 in that order. So if we know that from y, this is from y here, from y to the base of the plane containing the this one is 50 degrees. Then it means from x to the plane will be 40. And look at how we measured it. We measured it anti-clockwise. So it's from the positive x-axis to the base of the plane. So I read it like that. So that's 40, positive 40 degrees. So it means phi is positive 40 degrees. Yes. So that's how it's like. And by the way, this 50 here was here, exploded to 50. So now, if you know here to be 50, then think from x to the base is 40, and we read it in anti-clockwise, so it's positive. Then is that all? No, we want the theta z for F1. That is the angle between the z-axis and the force F1. So there is another interesting thing. From z from z here to this plane, from Z to this base of the plane is 90. From Z to this base of the plane is 90. Then we went down again, we went down again 35. So it will be 90 plus 35, which is 90 plus 35. And that's what, that's 125 degrees. That's 125 degrees. So that's what you should know. 125. So now let me think. Mhm. So that's how the F1 goes. Then you come to F2. F2, what resultant force are we considering? It's what? 60 newtons. F2, the F there is 60 newtons. Then we check the phi, the angle between the positive x-axis and the base of the plane containing F2. Here is the base of the plane containing F2. Here. What's the angle between the positive x-axis and that plane, the base of the plane? It's 20. But look at how we read it. We read it in the negative. That's clockwise way. We went this way. Look, there's it. We went this way. So if we went in clockwise, it will be negative because I've told you to go that way. Negative 20 degrees. All right. Then lastly, the theta z. Theta z for F2. The angle between Z and F2, which is clear, it is 30 degrees. Happy. 30 degrees. Very simple. Then we move on to example 2. Example 2, we have two forces. So I will consider F1 first. If I consider F1, what is the F for F1? It's 100 newton. 5 theta z. So what is the 5 for F1? So where is the base of the plane? That's what you indicate first. That's what you indicate first. This is the base of the plane containing the force F1. So from the x-axis here to this base is what? Of course, the angle should be positive because we are moving this way, anti-clockwise. You can see it from the diagram. We are moving that way. So I know from y to the base is 55. So from here to here, it might be what? It might be 35. It might be 35 because from x to y is 90. And we know here to here is 55. Then it means the rest is 35. So 5 is therefore 35 degrees and it's positive. Then we check the theta z for F1. Theta z. Yes. So theta z is from the positive z axis, not from the negative z axis to the force, but from the positive z axis to the force. But this time they gave us from the negative z axis to the force. So we need to find it from up. But we know that from positive z to negative, there is negative z. It's 180, you can see it's a straight line. So from positive z to negative z is 180. And they gave us from negative z to the force, which is 40. So it means the rest will be 140. And theta z cannot be greater than 180. Yes, so we should know that one too. Right. Then example 2, we come to force 2. Come to force 2, F2. When we come to F2, the force there is 150 newtons. That's the force there. 5 theta z. So what is the phi at F2? That is the angle between the x, positive x, and the base of the plane. Here is the base of the plane. Here is the base of the plane. And from the base of the plane to the y-axis is 45. But we know from the y-axis to the x-axis, I said the angle is 90. So it will be 90 plus 45. But going this way, 90 plus 45. You can see that from positive x-axis to the y-axis is 90 anti-clockwise. Clockwise, sorry, 90 clockwise. Then you go again from the y-axis to the base of the plane containing F2, which is 45. So 90 plus 45 is 135. But because we are moving clockwise, it is negative. All right. Then theta z between z and the force 2. That one too is also that one too is also 30. Very simple. 30. All right. Then we come to the last one, but not the least. So that one we have two forces. So I'm doing F1. If I take F1, the resultant force there is 100. The phi there is the angle between the x, positive x, and the base. Here is the base containing F1. Here is the base containing F1. So from here to here, I know from x to y is 90, but they're giving me from y to the base, which is 40. So the rest will be 50. 50. Then in the 50 will be positive because I will move it like this. 50, yes, because they're giving me 40 of it. Alright. Then let's move on to theta z, the angle between z and the force F1. So I know from top here where the base is 90. Then we went down again, how much? 30. So it will be 120 degrees. So from Z to the base is 90. Then we went down again. We went down again. You can see. We went down again by 30. So you can see that. Now we give it 120. Then F2 on the example 3. The F there is 150 newtons. The phi, the phi is between the x-axis and the base. Here is the base containing F2. Here is the base containing F2. So if we should check, the angle is negative 20 because I'm moving clockwise. I'm moving clockwise. So negative 20, negative 20. So phi is negative 20. Then theta z from top, from top the force. But we know that from z to the base is 90. And they've given us from the base to the force 50. So the rest will be what? The rest will be 40 degrees. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how we find the various parameters. So for instance, for F1, if you want to find F1 in IGP, it will be so F1x, the x component of F1. Yes, the x component of F1 will be F sine theta z cos phi. That's the expression we had in our last discussion. F sine theta z cos phi. That's the x component. So you put F 75 sine theta z, which is 125, cos phi, which is 40. Then the answer you get is in terms of I component. If you want F1, the same F1, but this time you want the y component. It is given by F sine theta z sine phi. So that one will be 75 sine 125 sine 40. And lastly, if you want F1 in terms of the z component, That is very simple. It's given by f cos theta, which is 75 cos 125. Then this is in k component. This is in k component. You can do that one too for f2. You can do that one too for f1 question 2. You can do that one too for f2 question 2 in that manner. So that's how we find the resultant of a blue triangle 3D vector resolution. Thank you. We shall meet again.